Hello, my name is Bill Cates. I work for Sunbelt Computer Software, and today I would like to talk about the AI programming assistant that we've created for Gemini. So, to find information on our various AI programming assistants, you can go to the Sunbelt Computer Software website, go to the frequently asked questions, and under do you have any AI programming assistants, you'll see that we have a URL that points both off to our Sunbelt Assistant for GPT and the Sunbelt Assistant for Gemini. So in this case, what you need to do, of course, is start by logging in to your Gemini before actually using this URL. So let's go do that now. You can log into Gemini by going to the Google's Products and Services site, selecting Gemini. That'll bring you to the Gemini page, and then you can use the sign in button to sign in. Once we have signed in, we'll go back to our FAQ page. We will go select, and here we are in the Sunbelt PLB Assistant. Now you notice that it says this gem is shared, instructions may change, which is just a polite way of saying that as we update the gem with more information, then you might get a different result when you ask the same questions. Hopefully a better result. Now that we have the assistant up, what can we do with it? Well, of course, it can help teach or generate PLB code, examine your PLB code. There are mechanisms where you can upload files for it to analyze. You also have a series of tools. You can just ask it questions to begin with, or you end up having tools, deep research, where you can tell it to spend much more time on the answer, and guided learning, where you can ask it a question and it will produce you an answer that would be a better version, say, of the help file. So let's try some samples here. For my first example, I'm going to switch to guided learning, and I'm going to basically ask the question, tell me about the HTTP instruction. So he's come in, he's given me a brief analysis of this, talks about some of the functionality, some of the methods, syntax and parameters, and then he offers me, of course, to do a basic get sample, different advanced flags. He also shows me the sources that he used that we have set up to be able to find his information, which is kind of nice. I can give him a little thumbs up that I thought it was a good response. I could, of course, ask him to redo the answer if I didn't particularly care for it. I can also copy off the responses and even do more. For example, export to documents in case I wanted to keep this later on. So in this case, let's say that, why don't we do a basic get example? So this, post it, and submit it. So I've now asked it for basic get example. It has given me the basic get example. And when I examine it, I realize this semicolon really shouldn't be there, because unfortunately, sometimes the assistants will make slight mistakes. Now the nice part is you can always then go down and tell him something that's wrong, and he will recorrect it. So in this case, I say, can't use a semicolon. And he says, oh, you're quite correct. It doesn't use a semicolon as a separator. It uses a comma. In which case he redoes it with the comma. And he then asks me whether I'd like to do more with that sample. Now let's analyze a piece of code. So in this case, I have opened up the sidebar. I have started, now that I have my gem there, a new inquiry, and I'm going to add a file, a PLB program, to have it analyzed. You can upload files from your machine, add them from your Google Drive. In this case, I'm going to upload a file from my machine. So in this case, I want to analyze the answer.pls program that's given as a sample. I have uploaded it and said, please examine this code. And what he comes back with as analysis is it's a multi-platform sign-in utility, which is quite correct. Code is notable for adaptive UI logic. Talks about how it detects things. It's user authentication with an ISAM file, and passwords being used in code 66. State management, of course. He talks about the subroutines in there, and of course it's nice that you can export that out to sheets, some technical observations, and he gives some examples of how to extend this program. So that's also quite nice to be able to examine functions, or of course samples that you upload yourself to get better information about them. Now let me start another new chat here. So new chat from the Sunbelt Assistant. And in this case, let's ask them to generate some code for us. Now in this case, I'd like to point out two things. Is that number one, I've asked this question called please generate a function that will extract all numbers from a string. And you see that he actually produces the function. He then describes the function. And he also gives you a sample to test the function, which is very good. But at the same time, when I asked this, I actually went from fast, which gives answers quickly, to thinking. And why I did this is the fast would give me an answer, but it might not necessarily give me the correct answer, and it might require me to make a number of requests afterwards to correct to become a final answer. Just like a ChatGPT, in many cases, when you are developing code, you will have to instruct ChatGPT or Gemini that the code isn't quite correct or the way that you want it. And of course, you can have them redo it. You can end up explaining what's wrong, and he will try and correct it. And in the future, I hope to produce a video that talks about how do we do the prompts writing, and then afterwards, how do we continue to fine-tune our code generation until it comes out the way we wish it. One final note is that up on our samples, we have added the sample under the AI section of our chatbot, but using Gemini instead. This uses, of course, the Chat Gemini PLS file. We have the support HTML file there. When we run it, we of course then can make requests to Gemini as opposed to the sample that we did with ChatGPT. In the following example here, we will actually have it extract a street address. So we'll say, what is the street address in the following data? We will give an address there. We'll ask him. It'll generate a response, and he'll say that the street address in the data provided is 56 Maple Avenue. This is an example where you can use the AI to extract data. At Sunbelt, we hope you will take advantage of some of the new AI tools that we have. And if Gemini is your preferred AI mechanism, well, we now support that. This has been Bill Keach for Sunbelt Computer Software saying, have a good day.